can't help it if it is your wedding anniversary. Adams isn't here. You'll just have to stay till she gets here, if she does.
Forget the excuses. All I'm getting is complaints about your people. I want something done about it now.
Okay. That's the last time you get any help from me. I can't help what's happening in... That's...
Well, well, well. Welcome to the Stress Club. And don't feel that you're the only ones. Most folks who work in the hospital are walking, talking, breathing bundles of overactive stress.
Why me?
Yes. Why us?
Good question. Why any of you? When your jobs are all to the of helping people. You should be twice blessed, right? Wrong. As human beings, you have private lives which no doubt carry the normal amount of stress-inducing conditions. Areas in the world. With you in one form or another all your waking hours, which right off on a scale of 1 to 10 makes you a 12.
Wonderful. Sounds to me like a species.
It's just happen to work in an environment with excess stress. So let's begin right now to consider your options, and there are effectively only two. One, that you will dig in your heels and concentrate on managing stress, making it work for you instead of against you. Or two, that you will let stress manage you, building up until it blows up, jeopardizing your relationships, your job, your well-being, and in extreme cases, even your health. Option number one, of course, managing stress, is best. We call it staying on top of old Smoky. Really the only place in the hospital. Experts have spent entire lives studying and writing about stress, its causes and effects. What all agree on is that stress is a human condition, a dormant volcano, you might say, just beneath the surface in all of us. Stay on top of old Smoky, keep stress controlled, and you'll find it's the necessary quality that keeps you alert and alive, responsive and quick to act in emergencies.
Sure, my ribs hurt, but I wouldn't even be here if you hadn't seen I was choking. That Heimlich maneuver saved my life.
Controlled stress helps you master your job.
Good work, Doctor. That was a tough job.
What a grand job you did on that report. Thanks to your last-minute work, I think we have our budget approved without a change.
Eliminate stress completely from your life, and you'd be like the lady who got so enthusiastic over her new wrinkle eraser stick, she erased her entire face. You'd be blank, listless, indifferent, a failure and a bore. On the other hand, let old Smoky build up and explode, and what seemed to be a bland bowl of Jell-O disintegrates quickly into a pretty kettle of fish.
Where the devil are the trays? It's way past dinner time. I've got a patient revolt on my hands.
Sorry, old girl. The dietitian's gone on a tear. Half the help down here's walked out. You'll just have to wait until we can get to you.
That's what we call sheer bedlam. Or, if you will, a pretty kettle of fish. So back to your two options, and we assume you've chosen number one, managing stress. Now, we certainly don't claim to have your specific answers. Nobody has. Each of you has a different stress pattern, created by 100 different reasons for stress buildup. There are, though, a few common sense guidelines that can help you. They're called RPMs. That as revolutions per minute on your long-playing records. Comparison at that. Overactive stress does tend to make you go around in circles. In this case, though, RPMs stand for recognition, perception, motivation. In that order. So let's begin with recognition. Until you see stress for what it is, you won't be able to hear yourself beginning to crack up. Very simply, stress is a disquieting influence created by tension. Pointed out, the right amount is good. It becomes too much when it's compounded by prolonged pressure, anxiety, insecurity, and fear, to mention a few. At any point, then, the lid comes off of Old Smoky and the blow-ups come in as many forms as there are people. In obvious overreactions like fits of temper.
I don't know why I'm worried about my health. I'm going to die of old age waiting to go to X-ray.
There's no excuse for missing that 6 o'clock medication. Why didn't you ask me if I'd left it off his chart intentionally?
We're going to have some peace and harmony around here. If I have to break a few heads to get it.
Brooding and sulking are evidences of Old Smoky's beginning to rumble.
He'd rather kiss a python than say he's sorry. Well, I'll show him. It's not my job to catch his mistakes.
So are sarcasm and hostility.
Well, well, if it isn't the late Mrs. VIP. Your shift started 2 hours ago. Or did it slip your mind?
There goes Laughing Boy. I bet he spins little old ladies through revolving doors in his spare time.
You've done some stupid things, but this tops them all.
Bad jokes sometimes are signals of undue stress. In the hospital, they more often than not revolve around the food.
Listen, I've just given this hospital my gallbladder. I'm darned if you're going to get my stomach, too. Go thrill somebody else with this tomato surprise.
Hi, gorgeous. Hey, what's creeping around here today, besides the shoe-fly pie?
All of which may account for the dietitians going on a tear. Then there's extreme sensitivity, blowing even chance remarks, all out of proportion.
Hi there, Walker. How's it going?
Now, what do you suppose he meant by that? How's it look like it's going? I bet he thinks I'm not doing my job.
And as things go from bad to worse, the eruptions of Old Smoky lead to a loss of interest in your work and in the desire to do your best. Lack of concentration, resulting in carelessness, costly errors, mistakes in judgment, and accidents. Not to mention the physical side effects of chronic illness, and such damaging escape valves as alcoholism and drug abuse. We all have a call to arms mechanism. Learn to recognize what triggers yours, and you've won half the battle. Knowing yourself, recognizing your own stress symptoms, leads you automatically into the second of our guidelines, perception. As you become more analytical about the sources of and the consequences of stress in yourself, you become more discerning, understanding, and sensitive about that which you see in others.
I suppose this is another way of telling us to turn the other cheek. I'm black and blue from doing that already.
Well, certainly, turning the other cheek once in a while has its merits. But essentially, what we're saying is that being more perceptive about yourself will help you realize that others have problems of stress, too. After all, if nice person that you are, you sometimes say things you don't mean, or behave badly. So does everybody else. We all know that Old Smoky's always making the rounds in the hospital. On every shift and in every department, there are constant minor and major crises, all of them directly or indirectly affecting the welfare of the patients.
There's no excuse for missing that 6 o'clock medication. Why didn't you ask me if I'd left it off his chart intentionally?
Recognizing the sources of your own inner stress, that you not only were at the end of the 3 to 7 shift, and were having to work into the next one on your anniversary when you had other plans, but added to that, the dinner trays had been over an hour late, putting you in conflict with patients and their families. You were still short on linens, and the patient in 212 required a bed change almost every hour, plus 101 minor irritants. Would have helped you to be more perceptive of the doctor's problems, set you up to deal with the situation intelligently rather than emotionally.
Look, Dr. Murphy, I'm tired and you're tired. Let's don't get in a hassle. Normally, I probably would have noticed and checked with you. Is it too late now to give him the medication, or what else can we do? Why should I have to be the intelligent one? It was his mistake.
Yes, but it's your stress we're talking about. Why, for heaven's sakes, put your body through the knotted stomach, rising blood pressure, dry mouth, and sweaty palm routine? Besides, staying loose and in charge of yourself, while everyone else is falling apart, can do wonders for the relief of your tension. You might even feel downright proud of yourself, and you'll certainly earn respect. Which leads us to the final stage of entrenching yourself safely on top of Old Smoky. Motivation. And what greater motivation could you have than to feel good about yourself? It's the one positive force in your life that will, above everything else, help you cope with everyday tensions and frustrations. Make your life and your work more enjoyable.
That's easier said than done. You don't know all my problems. Nobody does.
Well, maybe it's time somebody did. Talking your problems out with a sympathetic friend or some other person you trust gets them off your chest and out in the open, gives you another view of the same old scenery, and leads to constructive, positive action. Be sure also to give yourself some space. Make it a must once in a while to get some time to yourself. Take 5, as they say. Even a few minutes helps you catch your breath and rechannel the adrenaline back to positive from negative. By all means, try not to take yourself too seriously. Chances are your mistakes are not going to gain national attention. Cultivate the remarkably relaxing ability to laugh with and at yourself. Most important of all, be kind to yourself. Make sure you get enough rest and sleep to give you a constant renewal of energy and a refreshed, brighter outlook. Try to balance your work with at least a little relaxation. Schedule some time for things that you enjoy and that get your mind out of that everyday rut. Develop a routine of physical exercise to keep yourself fit, to work off steam and to relax tension.
Oh, you make it all sound so easy.
Well, certainly we don't mean to. We know it may not be so easy. Nothing worthwhile ever is. Staying on top of Old Smoky probably means you're resolving to break a lot of not-so-good habits, rethinking the course you've consciously or unconsciously charted for yourself. If that's the case, like your electric blanket, resolve works better when it's plugged in. So begin right now to activate your RPMs. Learn to recognize your own stress points and reactions to them, which will help you develop perception about those in others, leading you to motivate yourself in positive directions, all guaranteed to help you manage stress. Make it work for you instead of against you. As for Old Smoky, well, just remember, the view from the top is always better.